Hi friends, it's Julia. I am here with another layout share. In October of 2024, yes, over a year ago now, Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches did a 2-page layout share or layout challenge for the entire month. I haven't completed the entire thing. I still have a box with some layouts left, but I did finish the first 25. Not all of them are like the sketches, and I think I kind of bailed out on some of the sketches towards the end and used like page maps or scrapbook generation because I wasn't feeling motivated by the sketches that were there. And that was okay. I didn't mind at all veering from the original format. I just wanted to get my layouts done, and I wasn't really in the frame of scrapbooking during the month of October, so I had pushed it out anyway. I had started the layout challenge in October, and I think I got through layout 25 by March of this year or April of this year. I think it was April because I went on a retreat and I finished up what I did there, put away what I wasn't going to work on at the time because I was kind of tired of the layouts that I was creating because they were all Christmas themed. Because if you've been around, you guys know I like to do my Christmas layouts in 2-page layouts. Not always. Sometimes I will do an occasional sketch here or there that's a single page, but for the most part I like 2 pages at Christmas time. So what I have in here are quite a few of those layouts, plus I have I had considered starting a series called Your Trash My Treasure. I've done multiple videos in the last couple of years for that, but have never actually come on and shared process videos or shares or anything like that. Yeah, and those videos have gone by the wayside. I don't even think I saved any of those. Anywho, like I said, the last couple of years have been a bit challenging for scrapbooking, and so yeah, here I am now sharing. So let me pull out some of these layouts and share with you. I am going to break this process up because they are 2-pagers for the most part, and yeah, give me just a second. I am starting with the Your Trash My Treasure layout. I think this was the actual second layout because I have number 2 layout. I don't know if that was meant to be number 2 like in pages or if this was actually the second layout that I did for that series. I think it's that. I think because I had this plan like over 2 years ago. So anywho, I used a page map from April of 2023 to complete this first layout. And here it is. It's a 2-pager, and you can see it is Christmas themed, and the paper didn't really have a Christmas feel, and I'm okay with that. It's Christmas in that it's not quite December yet. It was over Thanksgiving, but we were decorating the Christmas tree when all the grandkids were here. So what I did on here, I made my title kind of stretched out and long, and it says Time to Enjoy Our Life Journey. And it just tells a little bit about, shows pictures, and my journaling is a little bit about having all the kids over to decorate my Christmas tree. And so I had picked up this background paper, the green and this pink one. Those were, if I remember correctly, they were Graphic 45. And then I took some paper that I had, that I bought a pack of, that was from, you guys probably remember the collection. It was one of those nature theme. Anyway, I found a pack at Tuesday Morning. I think it was Tuesday Morning. A long while ago. I bought the whole thing, and I had like 20 sheets or something in it. So anywho, 2-page layout. And so I think the title, Journey, and the papers were found. All the other stuff came from my stash. These puffy stickers I think were found as well. Anywho, so here we go. The tag here was already made, just with the word enjoy on it. This one is something that I had previously stamped and fussy cut. There's an old metal tag from Close to My Heart. These are just random flower bits that I had. This was actually a border strip, and it's one of those that you could paint and or color, one of the basil ones, and so I just layered it here. I had colored it with a little bit of like distress ink, nothing fancy, but on this one you can see I popped up, maybe not, maybe you can't see, I popped up this little photo and this little photo. I wanted to get the extra photos on there of my grandkids where I could, and actually one of me. So if it meant cutting down photos, I was okay with that. I used a border punch along here, the notebook border, and I used a circle template to cut this larger circle out. And on this side, I used another circle here that I had cut out. And I don't think this one was a full circle. I think this one was a partial circle because I didn't have enough paper. And that's okay because it's behind the photo, so it doesn't really matter. I have this photo on this page popped up and this one popped up. This is a flower that I made out of paper. It was actually... this flower was actually a technique that I had done years ago. When I created this, I saw an online tutorial about how to make these and make them kind of flat, if you will. They're not completely flat. They are textured to some degree, so you can see here. And you just cut your shape out, spray it with a little bit of water, crinkle it up, let it set for a few minutes to start drying, and then spread it out, and voila, you have a messy looking flower. I took some old silk flowers that I picked up at I don't know, maybe Dollar Tree. I don't think they were actually silk, but they were good enough. I used those. I cut the petals off of it to make leaves there. This is an old journal spot that I had as a sticker, and so I put it there. Another metal piece here and another tag here. This one is layered up flowers, and I used a bit of lace to create a background there and more of those leaves. Here's some more of that little border on here that I just blinged up, and then I put a tag over here and put my journaling on it, and then stamped it with the date November of 2018. So yeah, some of my photos are from years ago, and that's okay. I'm not worried about being caught up at this point. So yeah, that was it. This was, I think, the second page that I did, the second two pages that I did for my Your Trash, My Treasure series. That's still on the table. I have a whole collection of papers that I've picked up over the years that I have picked up from other places like giveaway tables and such. So I plan to use those, and I have been using those to create layouts. But I made tons of paper page kits, but I have to pull out photos and embellishments and things to continue to go with those. The next one is another layout from that, and I think this was the first one. I decided to do these first because I had a little bit of Christmas scraps in my stash that I wanted to get used, and I actually picked up this paper on one of those tables of Your Trash, on a giveaway table, and I had some additional embellishments that I threw in here. This was actually an embellishment that I had previously made, and I had it in my stash, and I knew that if I didn't use it soon, it was going to go in the giveaway pile. So I made an effort to get it used up. My title is here, Christmas Wishes, and then I used some washi tape down here, but you can't hardly see it because I didn't back it with white cardstock, and I really wish that I had. But otherwise, all the papers were leftover bits except for this black background, and you can see I actually cut out the center to map my photo on these two scraps here. So you can see there's the embellishment, and I have done a video on these different embellishment clusters that I made, and these are just some random embellishments down here, and you can see this washi tape. All of these are chipboard, and they were on like one of those Maggie Holmes chipboard sheets. Anyway, so this one was the actual first layout that I did, and I used a sketch from Summer 2023 Creative Scrapbooker. That was my inspiration. I don't know if I copied a layout or if there was a sketch there. I don't remember. It's been a while since I did this layout. I think it's older actually than 2024. I think I did it actually before then. And I actually used these glitter dots around our stickles, which I hadn't used in a long while. And so I was glad to get some use of them. So those were the first ones that I did. This one is a sketch, and I think it was round 16, 15, I don't remember the round. But anyway, this sketch was created by Lisa Brooks, and you can see what it looks like here. Sorry for the paper clip, but I kept it all together because I knew I was going to do a layout share. Anywho, so there's this one, and I followed along fairly closely to it, kind of, sort of. I did not, on this layout, I did not have the photos that went in this long column. Oh, you know what? I think it goes this way. Because this was the long column, I just used a piece of pattern paper for this long column where the photos are and put a single photo there. Made my title down here, Merry Christmas. And you can see there's some more of those little paper scraps that I keep. And these are 1/2-inch paper strips, and I just use them for doing my journaling on all the time. And I have cream and white and off-white, all different colors of them. So on here I have this embellishment cluster and this embellishment, and then these are some that I punched out, but I just layered them up over here. Otherwise, these are all washi tapes and leftover scraps. So you can see my paper along here, it doesn't span the distance because most of these scraps were smaller. I just cut them apart here and here. This is paper. This is actually a piece of washi on cardstock, and then this is washi tape, and this one is washi tape, and this one is washi tape on cardstock, and then a leftover piece of vellum. And I span them all the way to the bottom. I actually have a little Christmas tree. It's a vellum Christmas tree back here. You can see it a little bit more, but I kind of wish I had put it on a neutral background so that it would pop a little bit more. And these little Santas, I had made a ton of those and had them to use on Christmas layouts. Wood veneer for my title, and this embellishment cluster here I made minus the circle, the glitter circle behind it. It was the flower and this little flourish pieces, and I just added the little circle to give it a little bit more dimension here. And then here's the other one. I had some Christmas trees, and then I had some of these glitter circles that I had punched out from some scrap paper and used those to layer up there. So I love how this one turned out, and it got me started. And I like to, when I am creating layouts, if I have a kit that I am using or pull papers from whatever, like I pulled to create these layouts, I pulled tons of Christmas paper, and I also pulled out my packets of scraps. And I always like to start with scraps because sometimes I find it very difficult to cut into new papers. I don't know if you guys have that same issue, but sometimes that's what happens with me. And so I find that if I start off with scraps, I find it easier to get things going, right? I've seen some people who take their full-size papers when they open a kit, and they will cut some of them down to create scraps, if you will, because they have the same thing. But this one was made with all scraps. The only solid pieces were these background papers, and I think they're old. I don't remember the manufacturer, but they were in my Christmas stash, so here they are. So this was the first layout. Second layout was one by Sean Stills, Lar. I think that's how you say the name. Anyway, it is a 2-page. And you can see on this side it called for a 10x8 photo, and over here was 6x4 and then 5.5x4. I changed it up a little bit, but I love the pattern paper that went across the bottom. I love the title up at the top. I love the embellishment clusters. And so what I created was this. So I somewhat stuck to the original design. I changed it up a little bit. I didn't have an 8x10 to go on this layout, or a 10x8. And I think my glue came a little undone because these photos look a little wonky. My sister hates it when I do this. It's always supposed to be pick it and stick it. Pick your place and stick your photo down. But sometimes you just have to change things up a little bit. Oh, that looks so much better. Okay. Now these over here are meant to be wonky, but these were not. I do remember that. I took, I had paper, I had a 6x6 paper pad that I was working with for this one, and I cut out a bunch of those and put them along the bottom here. That's another thing. If you add in 6x6 sheets of paper, it's like you already have scraps, right? So it doesn't hurt my feelings as much to cut into those. So another thing that I do every year is I go through when I'm getting ready to make embellishments for scrapbooking, especially at Christmas time. I'll go through my scraps and pull in tons of papers that, like the glitter papers that I wouldn't normally use on a layout, but I have used them in the past for something and I have scraps left, and I punch things out. This is a embellishment that I made previously. These are things that I have punched out in these embellishment clusters. This is something that was already made. I just layered it up onto a tag that I had previously, or, well, it's not a tag, it's just an embellishment cluster starter, if you will, kind of like these squares would be. So I'll show you a little up close. This was a sticker from a sticker pack, and I actually just put some of these leaves and bling on here. They were from not Recollections, what is Hobby Lobby's brand? Paper Studio, from them. Here's more of those border strips for putting down journaling. Here's one of the embellishments that I had previously created. And I think I made these embellishment clusters maybe in 2023 or 2024, sometime in 2024. Not necessarily at Christmas time. Lots of little bits and pieces to use up for these. Very basic, simple layout, but I love how it turned out, and I love that I was able to get so many photos on a layout. This one was layout number 3 by Stephanie Olson, and you can see it has a large title on it, and it's got multiple photos on it. Yeah, some round type embellishment clusters, some leafy bits on either side. Fun layout to use as a starter point. And this is what I did with mine. I made it a little bit different than the layout per se. It has the pattern paper in the middle butting up together and then a gap on the side. I didn't do that for whatever reason. I left a gap on the inside as well. I put, instead of taking this long strip across the bottom, instead of taking it all the way to the edge, I made it into a pennant shape on either side. I used some Christmas trees that I had punched out of scraps. I used this wood embellishment as my title, Eat, Drink, and Be Merry. I've had that in my stash for years, and I want to say it came from Michael's from probably 15 years ago. It's been a long time. This is one that I had in my stash. It came with a kit, but like maybe a hip kit or something from years ago. I layered up some different embellishments here. I have papers that I had, scraps that I had punched into tab shapes. I have this one is in a ticket shape. More of the journaling pieces here. This is an embellishment cluster that I had created. And then I just layered up some embellishments over here. And this one is actually one that came from Hobby Lobby, and it had a silver background. Well, I didn't want silver. I'm a red, gold, and green girl, so I wanted it gold. So I just took a paint pen and traced around the edges very carefully so that I could have that gold bit on there. And it's kind of balanced out by this gold bit over here with this cluster. So yeah, got lots of stuff done or lots of photos on here, 4 photos that told a little story of my daughter-in-law's making tamales and my grandson just munching his way through the holiday, right? Isn't that what your grandkids do or your kids do when you're preparing something for a holiday meal? They're just walking through and snacking the whole day. That's what mine do anyway, and I don't turn them away. I'm that grandma. If they want to eat, I feed them. It doesn't matter necessarily if it's mealtime. If they're snacking and it's mealtime right then yeah, I might say, okay, hold off and eat what's on the table first before you get after that. This one is number 4, and it was created by Erin Dallas, and it's got lots of geometric shapes on it, and it really wasn't my thing. I don't scrap with geometric shapes much. So, I mean, I do, but it's not quite like that, not with triangles and circles. So I used a couple of 6 by 6 here. I split it for both sides, and then also this was a 6 by 6, and then I used some border strips, and I think these were from the 6 by 6 as well. And so you can see I just added this embellishment piece and this embellishment piece that were already put together, that I had previously put together, and then I used all these bits and pieces that I had previously die cut and used for Christmas embellishments. And then the title here, oh, it's a little flimsy alphabet. It doesn't look like it's sticking great. It's starting to rise up some. So I have this embellishment here. It's red on red, so it might be a little bit difficult to see in the photos, but you can see a little bit more of it here. This is a die that I have, and that's one of those little Hobby Lobby packs of flowers that come 6 to a pack, I think, or 8 to a pack. Anyway, this one is the 6 by 6 paper, and nothing is cut apart. It's just solid, and I used a piece here and a piece on the other side. Here's some more layered up embellishments, but those were individually cut but not already layered together. Here's another one of the flowers. I had a white pack and a red pack, and I just layered it up with some things here. This I have had in my stash for years, and I'm glad I finally got to use it. This is a pre-made embellishment that I put together and added another little one of those flowers there, and there's bling scattered throughout. So a lot of fun getting to use up embellishments, and as you can see, it is nothing at all like the sketch, and it's okay. It started me off, it started me thinking, you know, squares and not necessarily circles and triangles, but it made me think of squares and rectangles. And so I guess you could say my rectangles are the photos and then my squares are the paper, right? So anywho, this is day number 5, and it was created by Sandy Reversky. And it had a lot of photos, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way across it. Sorry, this isn't the best rendering of this photo. It's kind of dark on here. But it does have an embellishment cluster here, a title and cluster here, and another cluster here with the border strip that goes all the way across the top. It has some paper that comes up the top and the bottom, and it looks like different papers over here on the side. So I kind of sort of followed along with that. Instead of using a border strip that went all the way across the paper, I put down my title, "They Are Hungry, Preparing to Feed the Masses." That acts as my border strip that went across the 2 pages. This is an embellishment that I had created. These are embellishments that I had created. All of this down here I've punched out, and another embellishment cluster that I created down here. More of those strips of paper. You can see this is all the same paper, but I cut it apart to go behind here. This was nothing but a scrap, I believe. Here, it wasn't a full piece. This one, I have a lot of these still left in my stash I've had for years. This was a scrap of paper, as was this, and then of course the green cardstock was not. And I have a bitty bling stuck to the back. Maybe it goes on the next layout. We'll see here in just a minute. But you can see there is the little snowman at the top. This is a piece that I had fussy cut from background paper, and then I have these little flourishes. And then down here, this is a cluster that I created. It was already all put together and I just stuck it down. I did fussy cut this embellishment piece from this background paper. It was a little bit wider to encompass this whole little cluster at the bottom, and I just fussy cut around here when I cut this down. These are from December 2019. Here's more. I put Celebrate down here with the wood veneer. And then the deer, I popped up off the page. These are just all embellishments that I had that I used to cluster up to make this entire embellishment cluster down here. And of course, you can't forget to feed the puppies, right? Anywho, here we go. Here's this layout. Here is number 6, and I think I will stop here and finish up the others on another day. This is by Kim Johnson Martin. 2 photos on this side, 1 on this side, embellishment clusters. It looks like a piece of paper behind there, and this one actually looks like there's 3 pieces of paper. I kind of followed it. Not 100%, but I kind of followed it. So I took some leftovers that I have. I think this was either Felicity Jane or Freckled Fawn, and this was a cutoff from another full sheet of paper that I used, or maybe it was a border strip from a couple of sheets of paper that I used across the back. I made the deer. This is a cluster that I made, and I made this deer as well. These can be used together. This can be something separate. This is called After Lunch Slump. Just a whole conglomeration of little bits up at the top. You can see this cluster, and I wish again that I had put a neutral cardstock behind this one so you could see the tree a little bit better, the vellum tree. And then behind here I used some washi strips on cardstock so they would pop up more of those journal pieces there. And then here's the little deer. And then I just had this in these lights in an embellishment pack, I want to say from Hobby Lobby as well. And I just used them with my little deer as these little holly bits here. I also got those from Hobby Lobby, and then these little trees that I have scattered around are, I want to say they were close to my heart. And some chipboard pieces and wood veneer trees, and there's a wood veneer on this, and I put a chipboard piece. Anyway, I'm really pleased with how this turned out, and yeah, another layout done. So anywho, that's it. Those are my layouts that I created. The start of my layouts that I created. And you can see I use a ton of stash to create these layouts. Over the course of time, I have been trying to dwindle down my Christmas stash and not buy any new. I have not bought, I think I bought like a few little embellishment packs in the last year or so, but that's been about it. I haven't really bought any papers or anything, and so I want to use what I already have. My room is full of supplies, y'all. It's full of paper and embellishments and all the things, and if I keep buying new stuff, I'm never going to use the older stuff, and I'm not going to have room for all of it. So I'm really trying to focus on finishing up a lot of the older supplies that I have, especially Christmas papers. You know, they go one year to the next, but I still want to work at getting them all done, getting them all used up. And I would love to buy some new stuff, but yeah, that's just not in my wheelhouse for right now. Maybe this year I might buy a few new things, but again, I think it will likely all be embellishment things I don't foresee buying any new papers or anything. So if you like seeing these layouts and seeing what I did with my my own stash, make sure and hit that thumbs up. If you like to see layouts made with stash, make sure you come back another day, because I always do layouts with mixing old and new. If I have new product, I typically will use it with older stash as well. Anyway, friends, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you for your support, and I will see you on the next video. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.